We're good now. Hello, everyone. My name is Matthew, and this is Museum Makers Live, filmed live inside of the Visual World Investigate Lab, part of the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences in downtown Raleigh, North Carolina. Welcome. This is a live stream where we talk about science and technology, nature, the environment, all while playing Minecraft and talking to you all as well. So if you have any questions or any comments you want to make about the game or about any of those other topics, please send them our way in the chat and we'll do our very best to answer them. Hi, Matthew. My background is in environmental science, but also technology. This lab that you see behind me, this is real. This is not a green screen or anything like that. This is a public education lab, a lab that the public can come into to learn about various topics in science using exhibits that we have that use scientific visualizations and different techniques like projection mapping and augmented reality to learn about topics and scales that are a little hard to comprehend sometimes, things that are very big, very small, very fast, very slow, things like that. That's the majority of the lab. What you're looking at right now, however, behind me is a portion of the lab that is also a maker space because we are makers of computer coding and electronics and robotics and 3D printing, all those different technologies you've ever heard of that people use to make things with, all the different types of tools we do here in the lab, and we teach that as well. We encourage people to learn how to use tools and use these technologies to make anything that they want. Because unlike a lot of other subjects that you learn about, these are things that you can become really good at just on your own if you just have the desire. A lot of it's very accessible, a lot of it's very affordable, and you can become very, very good if you have the drive to keep at it and fail and repeat until you finally get it. But you don't have to be alone. We're here for you as well. This museum and all state museums in North Carolina is completely free. You can just come in. You don't have to buy a ticket or anything unless you're going to watch a movie or attend a special class or a summer camp or things like that. All things that we also do. But to just come in doesn't cost anything. And you can walk right into our lab, some of the other labs here at the museum, to talk to the researchers, to talk to the educators about anything that you're interested in and interact with the exhibits and all the artifacts and things like that we have on hand. Museums are really amazing places. Not enough people visit them unless they have to because of a school trip or something like that. But there's an awful lot that these places have to offer that everyone I wish would keep in mind a little bit more often. Well, anyways, I'll talk more about that. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the game now and introduce the co-host, who is also the coordinator of this lab, Audrey. So let me go ahead, switch us to Minecraft.
Just so you know, Matt,
Yes,
you are pretty quiet on the stream.
I'm pretty quiet.
Mhm.
Okay, my microphone, so just the microphone. And let me adjust my levels here a little bit. There, that's probably better. Hit game. Okay, it's pretty dark, so set it to be daytime. There. Okay. So here we are. Hello, everyone. I'm Matthew on your right. And to my left, front of the camera, is Audrey.
Hi, I'm Audrey.
Audrey, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am the co-curator, the coordinator of this lab. I've been working here for about a year and a half. My background is in ecology and environmental science, but I also love design and other creative technology types of things. I've been playing Minecraft here recently in the last couple of months, but before that I had not played it since 2012. So a lot has changed since the last time I was playing Minecraft regularly.
That's great. So why are we in the middle of the forest right now?
So this is our bee farm. Give me just a second. I'm gonna turn this down so I can actually think.
Oh, hello, Philip.
So this is the bee farm. I have set up some hives all around. We've got a bunch of hives making delicious honey and honeycomb. And then we also have this little farm of our crops. We've got pumpkin, we've got carrots, and we've got wheat. And then down here we have our flower patch for where our bees can collect their nectar and pollen. So you'll look around, see a whole bunch of bees flying around. So we're going to talk about bees in real life and bees in Minecraft, and the ways that bees act in both places, in Minecraft and in the real world.
That's right. And the way that these streams are going to work is that we're always going to start by talking about some natural science related topic. Today's topic is bees. But after we do that, then we're going to head on over to the big project that we're working on, which is recreating the entire North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, the largest science museum in the Southeast, to scale, 1-to-1 scale within Minecraft. But before that, let's learn some more about bees, shall we? Audrey,
All right.
why are bees important? Why should we care about bees?
So bees are very important. Largely, they are important as all animals are important. They have ecosystem services. They have special things that they are important for in their ecosystem. One of the big things that you've probably heard of is pollination. Bees are not the only pollinators in the world, but they are extremely effective pollinators. And what pollination is it allows plants to reproduce successfully. Oh, it's raining. The bees are all going to go inside now.
Are they? Oh, that's great. Just like they would in real life.
I said,
Oh,
I don't
look
want to
them
be out
go.
in this rain. Ugh, gross. Can't
raindrop
fly
is-
with wet wings either.
There they go. That's great.
But pollination is the transfer of pollen, which is the reproductive portion of a plant, of a flower. So transferring that pollen from one flower to another flower, allowing for the reproduction of those plants. Bees are really effective at doing this because they really, really like nectar. They love flower nectar, which is the sweet part of the flower. And that's what they use to turn into honey. So when they're collecting that nectar, ooh, there's a thunderstorm. Okay, that means there's going to be monsters eventually. There's a bed back here if you want to sleep through the thunderstorm.
Oh, that's right.
But when they're collecting the nectar, they collect a bunch of pollen on their fuzzy behinds and on their fuzzy legs, and that pollen then is transferred to the next flower that they collect nectar from. So bees are really effective pollinators. They're all fluffy and fuzzy, and they collect a ton of pollen. They're also they have a lot of static electricity, so they collect a lot of small particles. All sorts of kinds of dust is attracted to the hairs on a forest fire. Is attracted to the hairs on the bee's legs and abdomen. But there's other pollinators like butterflies, moths, wasps are pollinators as well. Lots of flies are pollinators. There's even some beetle pollinators. And one of the biggest pollinators in terms of physical size are fruit bats. There are several fruit and nectar drinking bats that are really effective pollinators for for night blooming flowers, so flowers that only come out at nighttime. Oh, also, hummingbirds are important pollinators. There's tons and tons of different kinds of pollinators. But the honeybee especially, is,
Uh-oh. You gotta protect the bees. Hold on.
let's,
Nope.
I think the bees can protect themselves pretty well.
No. You must protect the children. Oh no, I haven't slept. Oh no. This will be fine. Keep talking about bees. This will be fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine. I've got this.
All right.
This will be fine.
So the reason why bees are such effective pollinators is because of that fuzzy body, but especially because they are designed.
Oops.
Well.
Okay. This will be fine. TP. Can I do this in survivor mode?
That zombie has a netherite sword.
That would be my sword.
Oh my god.
Give it back. Give it back. Oh. Keep talking about bees. This will be fine.
Okay. Oh. All right. So
Where's the
bees are
bed?
really effective pollinators because the domestic honeybee, which is the most common bee here in the United States and in Europe, has been domesticated to both produce a lot of honey and to pollinate our crop plants. So it's really effective at... Oh, let me grab all your stuff real quick.
Oh no. Oh no, this isn't going well. Oh no. Oh no, we're done. Okay. I'm trying to find the bed. Where's the bed? Is it up high or up low?
I'll show you. Hold on. You're going the wrong way.
Okay.
Follow me.
I'm trying.
It's over here.
Okay.
All right. Then hopefully the phantom will stop chasing you.
Well, I can't sleep yet, so I'm just going to be running around. It won't let me because it's not night and it's not a thunderstorm.
I feel like it
So
should
it
count.
seems like a thunderstorm to me.
Seems
Where
like it should
is
count as a thunderstorm.
my sword? Where's my stuff? Did you say you had
I have
it?
a bunch of your stuff, but not your sword.
Okay,
The zombie
that's all
had
right.
your sword. I don't know what happened to the zombie.
Okay.
Give me a second. I'll toss you. What do you want?
Just some food.
Okay.
I'll run away from things.
Here, I'll give you some enchanted golden apples.
Ooh.
Here.
Thank you. Okay, I'll be fine now.
I
I'll
don't
be just
remember
fine.
what I was talking about before
Okay.
all of the monsters attacked.
I'll talk about bees a little bit. Yeah, hopefully this will clear up soon and the bees will come back out. Yeah, I think if the bees get wet or their wings get wet, I don't think they can handle that much weight or the stickiness of the water. So obviously they're not going to be able to fly very easily. So when people think about bees, when everyone thinks about bees, they're thinking about honeybees typically, but honeybees only make up a small fraction of the total species of bees that we have. When I say we, I'm talking about the United States. That's where we are. There are only something like, I think, less than 10 species of honeybees. Can I have that sword?
Yeah. I was
That would
gonna
be great.
try and protect you a little bit, but there you go.
There we go. Okay. There are only a few species of honeybees. Most, where are you? Most species of bees, I'm actually going to set to be daytime. Time set day. So that we can see bees. There. Oh, that was quick. Yeah. Serves you guys right. Most species of bees are like our native bees, of which there are thousands, live solitary lives. They live in the ground, or they live, oh boy, Okay, I've got to deal with this guy here. Stop it. Stop. Okay. Oh, at least I went back here. I didn't think I would.
Well, the skeleton died, so that's
Oh,
good.
did it? Okay, that's fine. Most are solitary bees. And oh, I can see the museum. Oh, we're not that far. Cool. There's a sneak peek of the museum we're working on. Are solitary and are often smaller. If you spend some time near some wildflowers, you will see that there are lots of little winged creatures flying around that are bee-shaped. And those are little tiny, most of them are little, gosh, I can barely get through, are little tiny solitary bees. And they pollinate just like the honeybees do. But they are not, they are only commercially important in that they pollinate things, which is very important. No, stop it. No. Okay. I need a sword again.
Yeah, I'll give you this one again.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
What was that?
Creeper.
I didn't see it. Okay.
It was right behind you.
All right. It's all good. I've got my apples. Am I poisoned now?
Are
what's all this
you...
purple
No, that's
stuff?
enchantment. Your poison is green.
Okay. So this is a good
That's
thing.
a good thing. Yes.
Can I can hit
You have
with this
extra
bone.
hearts now.
Ooh. Oh, I see that. That's awesome. Okay, thank you. So actually, the honeybees that we have in North America are actually from Europe. They're not native to us at all. And it's actually a little bit of a problem because they can outcompete just like an invasive species can. They can outcompete the native bees. But that's not their biggest problem. They face many other problems. The honeybees and native bees alike both face similar problems, and that is related to their environment. As the climate continues to warm, it makes it easier for disease and pests to spread. More humid environments make it easier for things like that to spread. But also agriculture has become a really big issue with bee health. Because if you ever see fields of crops, what's the most obvious fact about those fields of crops? That they're what we call a monoculture. You'd have a field of corn, you'd have a field of apple trees, you have these individual large fields of one particular crop. And so what that means is that if the bees in those areas, or the bees that are trucked in, a lot of times there are farmers that will essentially rent bees. These beekeepers will take their bees from one field to another. When the bees pollinate those fields, they're getting pollen from just one source. And they end up whether they turn the pollen into food or they actually eat the pollen itself, I don't remember.
So pollen just gets distributed between the different plants, but they do eat a little bit of pollen, but most of what they eat, or most of what they're collecting, is nectar and honeydew. But nectar and honeydew are used for making honey, which is then a food for larval honeybees and for the queen.
So so they're brought up eating the honey that is made from the pollen, but if that pollen is just from one or two types of plants, then as you would imagine, it would be like you eating the same one or two types of food your entire, childhood or your entire life. You don't get all the vitamins and minerals necessary. And so what that means is that while they may look all right, they're not quite as healthy. And if they're not quite as healthy, that means they're not quite as fit. So they have a higher chance of having problems if there's some kind of stressor in the environment, like heat, like drought. It's harder for them to survive. And maybe even if conditions are perfect, they might not live as long anyways, because again, they're just not as healthy. So that's something that's understood, and there are ways around that by planting a larger variety of crops near each other, or moving the bees more often to different types of crops, so that they have different
Planting
types
other
of flowers.
flowers near your fields is also really helpful for bees.
That's right. And there are so many plants that owe their entire existence to bees, and the vast majority of food that we eat, we owe to pollinators, such as primarily native bees. So it's very important that pollinators do well and maintain healthy populations. Unfortunately, that's not really what we're seeing right now, for the reasons I just stated. So Audrey, I don't remember if you discussed this or not while I was dying repeatedly, but how do bees find their flowers? What do they do if they find a new flower?
So I did not talk about this. So so the honeybees are social bees. So they live together in a hive, unlike the solitary bees that you were talking about. Um the honeybees, they will fly out, and then they use their eyes to look for bright colored flowers. Especially they have UV sight, like many insects do. So very very reflective plants, like bright white and other super bright colors. They'll look for them and hopefully find some flowers. They also could smell a little bit. So they'll go and find flowers, and then they come back to their hives, like these hives we've got back here. And when they come back to the hive, they will, if it's really close to the hive, then they just do a quick little circle dance to show which direction the flower was in. And if it's close enough, they don't really worry about being super specific. As long as it's in the right direction, then their siblings will be able to find that flower. But if it's farther away, then they have a special little dance language where they shake their abdomen back and forth. So they walk forward and shake their abdomen back and forth a certain number of times to indicate the distance from the hive. And then they circle a certain number of times, up to 100 or more times, to indicate both direction and other important information around about where exactly that good flower patch is. So that way, you've got these scout bees who are flying off to find new flower sources, and then they come back and tell their hive mates about this cool new patch of flowers they found. In the Minecraft behavior, we've got these bees. We've got a couple of bees that are going to the flower patch that I made over here, and then there are some that seem to be just sort of wandering off. So the bee AI has bees. Oh, a pig just came out of nowhere.
Is it a threat to the bees?
The bee AI.
Do I need to take care of it?
The bee AI has bees looking throughout, looking around, looking for flowers, and then some of the bees that have found flowers are going to go back to that same flower patch, which is kind of like how it works in real life with real bees. Although I don't think the Minecraft bees have the intricate dance. The other thing about the Minecraft bees, so you'll notice that I've got these crops set up. We've got the pumpkin already grown, and there's also the carrots have already grown, a bunch of other stuff going on. That's because I put this little field in between all of our hives and the flower patch. So the bees have to cross over our
Ooh.
crops in order to get back to their hives.
That's cool.
So the way that bees in Minecraft work is when they drop bits of pollen off of their abdomen, which you can see the loaded up bee, it drops kind of like bone meal, so it fertilizes the crops, and then they grow a little bit faster. So now it's nighttime. The bees have gone to bed. And nighttime is a little bit more of a dangerous time to harvest bees from Minecraft. So because they're all in the hive now because it's nighttime. So if you harvest the honey incorrectly, then you will end up being attacked by a bunch of bees. So in that chest there, Matt, we've got there's some shears.
Okay.
That you can use to.
I got this.
To collect some honey.
I know what
I
I'm
have
doing.
some helpful signs. We'll see if you can figure it out.
Okay. Do not shear. Safe to shear. Okay. Try. Oh.
So
at
that
that.
one, the safe to
Ooh.
shear, is being smoked by this campfire I've got under a trapdoor.
Oh, hi. Hey, Philip. No. Hey. No. Stop it. Stop it.
So that
No. No,
hive has
no.
not been smoked, so the bees are not happy with you.
Stop following me. No.
So that's what
wanna fight
happens
you.
when you try and harvest a
Oh,
bee,
Enderman.
a
Cool.
beehive that is not ready for
Hey,
you.
fellas. Hi. He looks friendly. Oh no, I
he
don't
is
think
friendly.
he's friendly.
Don't make eye contact with him, though.
I did.
He's fine as long as you don't make eye contact. Okay.
Okay, I did.
You definitely did.
Will he eventually stop following me?
No.
Oh. What if I go in the water? You like the water? This is fine. Yeah, what are you going to do now? What are you going to do now? Yeah, you don't like the water, do you? Okay. This is fine. I'll just swim away. That's good. All right, so,
Oh.
what?
I just saw a bee die. Why did you
Oh.
die?
It was old. It was his time.
Maybe.
Oh. Okay, so bees. So I think it is underappreciated that bees do a little dance and all the other bees watch the dance, and the other bees can tell where that dancing bee has found the flowers by watching the dance. I think that's really amazing. And so the bee is able to tell the direction of things based on using the electromagnetic field of the earth. The bee abdomen has little bits of iron inside of it. And if you know anything about iron, is that it is magnetic. It'll respond to a magnetic field. So I think what happens is that the little bits of iron inside the bee's abdomen get pulled in different directions, and then the bee can detect that, and it uses that it remembers how it feels, and it also can see where the sun is to determine to relay the location of that flower. The other thing that dance can tell the other bees is the quality of the nectar, which I think is really cool. Wow, there are just bad guys just everywhere.
Well, welcome back. I was wondering where
Yes,
you were.
That was great. I don't know where I was. I have no idea.
There's a bunch of zombies out here too. Did you turn on keep inventory?
Nope. How do I do that?
Go to options.
Options. Okay.
And then you're going to go to, oh gosh, I think you're gonna go to,
Oh, it's set on hard. Okay.
oh, that would be why.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I have to do this before
Oh yeah, you
the
have to
game.
do it in yours. I can't do it in
Okay.
mine. But in your options under the difficulty settings, you can change it to keep inventory, or you can set keep inventory on, I think. Hold on. That.
Yeah, it's fine. I think I may have to do that before I actually start the game.
I think you
That's
can
the
do it
feeling I'm
in
getting.
commands. Let me check.
Oh, probably. That'd be great. Probably game rule. Keep inventory as a game rule. Oh, it's set to false. Okay. Game rule. Keep inventory true.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes,
now it's true.
yes.
Okay, good. All right. Could you give me some more apples and a sword, please?
Yeah.
Thank you. So, did you talk about what the deal is with? You talked about what the deal is with the smoke, right?
Only a little bit. So the smoke is used in traditional beekeeping with in order to calm down bees. The idea was it would calm them down, which it does calm them down, but it also sort of suppresses their suppresses their oxygen, so they go into low oxygen, and then they go into a short torpor. Torpor is like a little hibernation. So they basically pass out, they go to sleep for a little while until they are exposed to enough oxygen again. So with the suppression of the smoke, you end up being able to service the hive, to clean out and collect honey, and also to make sure that if there's parasites in the hive, or check and see if the hive is going to swarm, basically check on how the hive is doing. You wouldn't want to have a setup like we have here in Minecraft, where we've got this smoke constantly going up into the hive, because that would be terrible for the hive, and they wouldn't be able to move ever. But in Minecraft, we don't have to worry about that.
I've also read that the smoke also affects their pheromones, and they think that the hive is actually on fire, which would make sense, and encourages them to leave it so they don't burn up. Which means that bees are frequently getting freaked out. Okay, well, I think that's all I can think of for. So maybe we should.
All right. Yeah, I don't think I have anything else for bees. Oh, I mean, I was gonna talk about the bee social system and our and the special exhibit that's coming this summer.
Oh yes.
So
please
the
do that.
museum is having a special exhibit called Amazing Pollinators, which is a paid exhibit that you can come and visit here at the museum. And it is basically a little live action role-playing game that you can come in and play with your friends, and you act as the pollinator. So you have to pollinate a bunch of different plants, and you use the techniques of different pollinators, and you sort of learn about the importance of pollinators by playing that game. And I think that was all I was going to talk about.
Great. Oh, I'm here. Oh, there's an ender.
Okay,
Hey,
don't look
fella.
at him again.
But it's daytime.
Yeah, they're fine in the
Hi.
daytime, and they don't
Oop.
attack you as long as you don't look at them. Okay. Well,
I kind of bumped into it.
All right,
It
I'm gonna
wasn't
go
an-
back to the museum. You can.
It wasn't entirely an accident. Oh, it says I was slain by the Enderman. That's great. So dramatic. Okay, let's see here. Now I need to get over to the museum. Let's see if I can do that. See if I can do that in this mode. Can I run? I can.
Oh, I really like this chicken box you've got here. Is this
Oh.
also from your kids?
No, that was me. That may have been an experiment. A unethical experiment.
That poor chicken.
Okay, let's see here. Should I swim? Oh, I can just go over here. There's an egg. Ciao, chicken. So this is the back side of the museum. The museum is actually comprised of two different buildings. Actually, there are several buildings, but two in downtown Raleigh. There are satellite locations as well. Well, like I said before, this is the largest science museum in the Southeast. And in downtown Raleigh, this building that we're looking at right now is the Nature Exploration Center. Let me show you a real photograph of it. There. So on the top right, that is the Nature Exploration Center. It's a very classical looking museum made up mostly of stone. And that contains lots of live specimens, reptiles and amphibians, some exotics as well. And it primarily teaches about the nature and ecology of North Carolina. Let's go back into here. Okay. Oh, there's some creepers. Hey, fellas. No. Okay, so that is a nature exploration center. Oh, I can't go up it because there aren't any stairs. Okay, I'm going to have to swim. Okay, so the next exploration center. So still working on that one, as you can see. Let's swim over here to see the other building. I think I'm kind of skipping across the water here. Now, oh man. Now I've been building this in creative mode. I'm not insane. I haven't been building this in survival mode the whole time. I just use survival mode just for fun. Okay, can I get across? Ooh, that took a heart. Okay, let's see. Oh, there's a zombie. Oh, okay. Okay, not good. I'm gonna switch game mode creative. Nope, I didn't want spectator. Well, it'll work. Oh, he's out in the sun. I didn't think about that. Game mode creative. Okay, this is what I'm used to. Okay, so Nature Exploration Center right there. As you can see, it is still very much under construction. It is, what is that? Oh, there's a bee all the way over here. What are you doing, buddy? Did you follow me?
Might
Okay,
have just
whatever.
spawned.
That's crazy. So this is, this building is 4 stories. 4 stories of exhibits anyways. There's also a secret 5th story we don't talk about. Inside of this building towards the back is a bridge, a 2-level bridge that'll take you to the other building, which is mostly complete, minus the exhibits inside. So let's do that. Actually, let's not go inside yet. Let's look at the outside of it, and then I'll show you a real photograph of it. Hyperspeed. Ooh, hyperspeed. There. This is the Nature Exploration Center. This is a world-class museum that a lot of others are being based off of now. Because as you can see, it is very different from the NEC, the Nature Exploration Center. This is the Nature Research Center. This building is mostly made up of metal and glass, so you can see things that are going on inside from the outside, but also on the inside, the walls are also, a lot of the walls are also glass on the inside. So you can see a lot of the things are going on behind the scenes. For example, this lab, you can see behind me, there's a wall of glass. You just see a little bit of it, but there's a lot more of it. And the research labs that are staffed by researchers are also behind glass. And that's really unique. Usually all the research that's being done, all the scientists that are working in museums are all doing their thing behind the scenes or in the basements. You don't see it. Well, this is a new model for museums that lets you see what we're doing. And in some cases, interact with us as well. So there are two labs, this lab, the Viz lab, and Investigate lab over to the side of us that are hands-on labs that you can actually go into to experience the exhibits and talk to the staff and volunteers that work in our labs. But there are also research labs that you can't go in, but you can still see what's going on inside. So for example, on just the floor that my lab is on, there's an astronomy lab, there's a genomics lab, there's a paleontology lab, and well, I guess that's it, but that's quite a lot. No, there's an evolution lab as well. And you can see everything that's going on inside that. So there are lots of spaces like that. So I'll just give you a quick little look around, and then we'll do some building. Oh, look at this here. This must be from an Enderman. No, thank you. So I have blueprints for these buildings. So I am trying to build them as accurately as possible and to scale, 1-to-1 scale. So, and when it's done, we're going to do all sorts of things in here where we have special guests, but we'll also make it available to download. We'll put it online somehow as a mod pack or something like that, so you can explore this museum as well. So as you can see, it's pretty impressive looking, and that's because in real life, it's really impressive looking. I'm going to set it to be set time. I have to do set date. No. Time set day. Okay, I want it to be nice and lit again. This first floor has a giant whale skeleton. It's a right whale, and its calf, which is inside. Fortunately, second floor has labs that you can't go in, but also a space called the Natural Center that you can go in. That's full of hundreds, maybe thousands, I'm not sure, of specimens that you can pick up and check out. The globe on the outside that I showed you before, that is the largest or second largest globe of its kind of the Earth in the world. When it was being built, it was the largest, but it didn't take long till another one was built somewhere. The inside of it is this right here. It's a theater, almost like a planetarium, like half of a planetarium. And so in here, all sorts of talks are given and videos are shown, lectures, things like that. The second floor here, or actually this is a third floor. So the second floor we were looking at, that's what we were just came up. The third floor, that's where the Viz lab is. So there's a genomics laboratory over here. There's the bridge. There's Audrey.
Hi, I'm working on the bridge.
This glowy thing represents a big, really cool DNA model that's in the on the ceiling. Let me show it to you again. I showed it to you before, but you probably didn't realize it. There, see that giant DNA strand, the double helix, ATCG, right there. That's what that is. And you can see behind it are they look like glowing ice cream cones. They're supposed to be meteors crash into the Earth. That is represented here as well by these things. So this is the evolution lab, which I need to flesh out. This is an astronomy lab, which I also need to flesh out. It's full of large screens and lots of telescopes. Excuse me. And then over here, oh, the dinosaur is there.
Yes,
Excellent.
I just placed it.
Oh, did you? Okay, cool.
Because it's a newer version of the mod, so it had to be redone. Chip is also there, but I've tied him to a leash so he can't escape.
No, there he is. Okay, so this is the Viz Lab. This is where, oh, you can't see it yet. I need to switch back. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so I'm still on the same floor. This is a third floor. And over here, this is the astronomy lab again. And then over here is the Viz Lab. So I would be sitting right here. And Audrey is right over there. So we need to put more things in this lab. But you can see there are some couple custom things. This right here was built in block bench. So as you probably realize, we're doing a lot with mods and shaders and things like that. And one of the programs we're also using is block bench to make things that you can't, smaller things, because many of our exhibits are less than a meter cube, which is how big a Minecraft block is. This right here is one of our 3D printers. Yeah, thanks for that, Jimbo. Appreciate that. This lab has, I don't know, something like 30 3D printers in it. We have a lot of them that we use for classes. A lot of them are small little monoprice brand printers used for classes where we teach 3D modeling, 3D printing. But we also have some unique 3D printers as well. We have one very large one that can do a 19 by 19 by 19 inch cube. And we've used that to make all sorts of things. Let me show you one of the biggest things I've made with that one. Let me go grab it. Right here. A 19-inch T-Rex skull, which I believe is about quarter size compared to the real thing. This was printed in just 2 pieces. Took about 35 hours on our Creality. And then we also have a newer printer, another Creality that is super fast. That's one of the most recent innovations in 3D printing lately has been super fast 3D printers. Printers that print 5 times or even 10 times faster than what we're historically used to. And then we also have this orange printer that's very special, made by a company called Prusa, which was formed by a gentleman named Joseph Prusa. And it has a lot of orange on it like this. And it's an old printer, but I still really like it because it can do something pretty unique. It has a special add-on that lets it print in 5 different colors. In fact, I do have an example I can show you that's very related to this topic. So we don't do multicolor printing too often because it does take a long time. It's an older printer, but also just by the nature of how multicolor printers work, it just necessarily has to take a long time. But here's an example of a multicolor print. And I happen to make a little Minecraft block. We do a lot of print out a lot of silly models of things that people, especially kids, are really interested in. Because it helps start a conversation. If they see something that they recognize and they really like, it's an easy, natural way to start a conversation about technology, science. So it's we have a lot of things like that out here. The weird glowy thing with the eye, that's supposed to represent one of the a project from a special event that we had last year. We had an adult-only event for that was Lord of the Rings themed, and so we made a 10-foot tall replica of Barad-dûr, the tower with the Eye of Sauron on top. It's really cool. So if you come to this lab, you can see it, or at least a part of it. And then there's this little guy here. Look at this little guy. So this is Chip. Chip is one of our robots. He's tied to a leash so he doesn't go anywhere. Chip is one of our robots. We have several robots here. And Chip was the very first. This is Chip right here. So Chip is an autonomous robot. He was the first one that I built. And as you can maybe tell, he is made completely from scratch, not a kit or anything like that. The brain of this robot is an Arduino. An Arduino is a little $9 circuit board that anyone can buy that you can use to build things with. It's not like a computer. It has a microchip on it called a microcontroller, but the only code on that chip, the only code on that board is the code that you put on it. That board has little holes on it that you can use to attach things to it. You attach wires to it. So lights and LEDs, motors, sensors, anything you want, it can listen to or it can control. I'll show you in a little example. I'll turn it on here. The little LED light isn't working on top for some reason. So right now the motors are on and it is moving forward. It's an autonomous robot. You don't control it. What it's doing is it's measuring distance using this sensor right here. This is an infrared sensor that measures distance by bouncing off an infrared light beam with one of these little LEDs and then detecting it with the other and measuring how long it takes for that reflection to bounce back. If it comes back too quickly, then it knows that something is too close. And then what it'll do is it'll look around, it'll take measurements to the left, to the right, choose the clearest path, and then turn in that direction. So we like computer coding and we like electronics an awful lot because when you learn how to do those things, you can make anything at all. So we think it's fantastic, and we're always teaching people and trying to convince people to learn it as well. So there's a little chip. Let's move out of here. There's another thing I want to talk about. Another model. So this model here is a work in progress. Actually, the model is pretty good. It's just the scale of it needs to be adjusted. Oh, interesting. It shows little outlines. Huh. Okay, this was made in block bench as well. This is a model of a juvenile Tyrannosaurus. I think it's a T-Rex, isn't it?
Yes,
Audrey?
it is.
Yeah, it's a T-Rex.
It's a mold of a famous T-Rex that I think is in Chicago.
Oh, you're not talking about Sue, are you?
It might be Sue. I can't
Well,
remember. It's either Sue or Jane.
Sue's an adult, so I don't think it's Sue. But anyways, that exhibit is pretty darn cool. But I'm just pulling something. Right back. I'll make sure I get something right. So that particular exhibit is talking about how dinosaurs are related to birds and why, how scientists came to that conclusion. One of the most dramatic ways has been through the research of a local scientist here named Dr. Mary Schweitzer. She was doing something you pretty commonly do with dinosaur bones. She was treating it with acidic solution of the inside of I think it was the femur, but I could be wrong, of a T-Rex bone. And after she let it set in this solution, what was left over was a matrix, a substance that was elastic. It was very spongy like. And that was surprising because typically what happens during fossilization, I mean, the definition of fossilization is that you have a creature that dies. It's quickly covered with mud or sand, and then it is, if it is in an anaerobic environment, an environment without much oxygen, then it only slowly degrades over time. Slowly enough that the substrate around it hardens before it can fully rot away. So by the time it does rot away, there's just an empty cavity left inside of what is now rock or very hard ground. And then over time, smaller sediments get inside of that cavity, fill it up. And so now you have what was the impression of the dinosaur is now filled up with other types of minerals that become rock over time because of pressure. So usually everything is replaced, but that doesn't appear to always be the case now. And in this case, they found this fibrous material that was very close to what you would expect from a living creature. And they were able to do sequencing on that to determine what it was. And what they were able to find, what they were able to note from that, what they were able to determine from that was that it was a female T-Rex, and not just that it was a female T-Rex, but it was a female T-Rex that was pregnant. So when birds become pregnant, their bodies starts because of hormone changes, start producing different hormones and different chemicals, and their bones inside change as they prepare for egg laying, because in order to lay eggs, eggs are comprised mostly of calcium. So, and that calcium is coming from their bones. So the internal structure changes. So you can tell from a bird bones, whether they're pregnant or not. And that's, I think that's unique to birds, but they're able to see that same thing inside of the T-Rex bones. Most recent research into dinosaur evolution. So that's fun. This specimen should be several times larger than what you see right now. So when that's done, we'll have it larger, and then we'll have signs and photographs as well, because we can actually get like JPEGs into this program with one of our mods. What's that over there? Nothing. Okay. So why don't we move on? Anyone has any questions, please go ahead and ask us anything that you'd like. Technology related, science, nature, museum related. We'll do our best with Minecraft. Audrey has played a lot more than I have, so I'm still learning, as you've probably seen.
I don't know if I could do advanced Minecraft questions, but I can do some Minecraft questions. And if need be, I can go on the Minecraft wiki.
That's right. We were experts at Google.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go in the other building and do some building. What am I going to do?
I'm working on the second floor bridge right now.
Yeah. Okay. I see.
Would you look at the third floor bridge and see if you think that color is all right? Or should I go with a whiter color? So I was deciding between this and here.
This is a slab, yeah.
So I've got this. I was deciding between end brick, and quartz slabs. So this is quartz slabs here, the 4 here. Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but maybe the quartz.
All right, that's fine.
And I say that because I use the quartz so much.
It doesn't take that long to replace. Because replacement is a lot faster than building fresh.
Yeah. Did you end up widening it as well?
I did.
Yeah, looks like it. Good. Oh, there's an Enderman in the distance. Look at all those monsters. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Hey, fellas. I come in peace. Okay, so let's see here. I was working on a wall last time. I'm going to keep working on this wall.
Glad we're in creative.
Yeah,
We should turn off mob griefing. So that
off
the
what?
Enderman can't mess with the museum.
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
I haven't seen them do too much.
Okay.
What is it called?
Mob griefing?
Greasing?
Griefing.
Oh, so they made up a word?
Well, it's a video game word. It's interacting with, so grief like grieving.
You're sad. Okay.
But grief is griefing in video games is interacting with the environments.
Oh, I've never heard of that phrase. Okay. Oh no. Comes the sun. All right. Enough messing around here. Got a museum to build. It's not going to build itself. So we mentioned before when we were talking about bees that they use the electromagnetic field generated by the earth to navigate. A lot of creatures do that. What's that? I don't know. Birds will do that, for example. Or at least some birds. What is that? No. Getting distracted. Anyways, so where does that come from? Why do we have an electromagnetic field around the Earth? Are there just a bunch of magnets in the Earth? No. No, that's not why we have an electromagnetic field. Electromagnetism implies that something is actively generating that field. When you're talking about electronics, you can make an electromagnet by taking a coil of taking wire that doesn't have any plastic on it, like a nice copper wire, and winding it around something that is conductive, and then taking one end and attaching it to one end of a battery and taking the other end and attaching it to the other end of the battery, and you can create yourself an electromagnet. I think one of the most famous examples of that you can see if you've ever watched, like in a junkyard. They have these machines, or at least used to, that could pick up cars using a giant magnet and then just release them. Well, how does it turn off the magnet? Well, it turns off the magnet by turning off the electricity. Electromagnets are used for all sorts of things. MRI machines. If you think of an MRI machine, that's a big machine that is, it looks like a big portal. It's like a giant donut with a bed going through the donut, and you have to lie down and go through that donut. Well, if you take apart if you take the casing off of that, you'll see that it's an electromagnet inside that spins very, very quickly. That's what the sound is. And in fact, it is so very powerful. It's used for creating images inside the body. It is so very powerful that it can pull on the iron that's inside of your blood. That's how powerful it is. You don't want to wear anything near it, like jewelry or anything like that. Well, anyways, so how does the Earth have something like that? Well, the Earth has lots of iron, and it has, excuse me, it has a molten core. That molten core is constantly churning because anything that is what we would call warm or hot, that necessarily means that the atoms are vibrating, and the harder they vibrate, the more that substance moves. And the interior of the Earth is very under a lot of pressure and still hot from the time of its formation during a early and heavy bombardment period of the solar system's formation or Earth's formation. It's still hot inside, and since it's so hot, those atoms are constantly moving around, so all the matter inside is constantly moving, churning. As it does that, that churning and the presence of iron creates a magnetic field around the Earth. And that's extremely important, not just for the bees, the birds, but also it acts as a force field protecting us from the worst of the solar radiation that comes towards us from our star, Sol, the sun. It's a really interesting topic, I think. Really, really cool. That electromagnetic field is crucial for life on this planet.
One of the major reasons why Mars is uninhabitable is because of the lack of a electromagnetic field.
Yeah, Mars is great to talk about because it used to have an electromagnetic field. It used to have an electromagnetic field because it used to have a core that was molten and hot and churning. No more, however, because because of the size of Mars, it cooled faster. Smaller than we. Now, before I talk more about Mars, I've got a very important question here. All right. Classic internet question. Which would you rather have, by can't think of a creative name, ask, question, which would you rather have to fight? 1,000 regular size bees or one really large bee? Well, I know which one I would pick.
Big bee.
Yes.
Definitely
Yes.
Big bee. Big bee can't fly.
That's right. And that's why I would pick Big B, because Big B wouldn't be able to fly. Even if you scaled up its wings, you would also have to scale up its muscles. If it doesn't really have muscles. I'm not sure if it uses muscles or not. I guess it probably does. Spiders don't use them, but there's a limit to how big things can get. And you would have to dramatically change the anatomy and physiology of a bee for it to be able to fly if it was really big. But absolutely, 1,000 little things with stingers chasing you and having to fend them all off, or just one giant bee. Even if it could fly, I'd feel better about my chances against a giant bee for sure. That's a fun question. The bees in Minecraft are pretty darn giant. Yeah, so Mars is interesting. I've got a model of it here. This model was 3D printed. We printed it here, and then our exhibits department painted it. So Mars, back when it had an electromagnetic field, it had that force field protecting its atmosphere, and so it protects it from radiation. And so what does that radiation do? Well, as you might expect, it can really mess up your DNA. Just like how getting a sunburn messes up your DNA. That's what the burning is evidence of. But what it can also do is strip away solar winds will strip away your ozone layer. So the electromagnetic field protects us from solar winds that would strip away our ozone layer. And if you don't have an ozone layer, you have nothing holding in moisture. So your clouds evaporate, the water evaporates, and all goes out into space. Mars has lots of evidence that it used to have lots of water, including oceans, which I think is extraordinary, before they dried up. Now, it does still have water, a good amount of water, but it's mostly locked up as ice, mostly beneath the surface. But as you can see on this model, it does have a north and south pole with ice on the surface. And then there are places during different seasons, like warm seasons, where the ground will get warm enough. It'll melt, the ice will melt underneath the crust or in the crust, and that water will actually bubble up and then stream down mountains. So there's actually pictures and animations that have been made of waterfalls on Mars, which is really cool. There is still a little bit of an atmosphere, enough so that there are thin clouds on Mars, but not like there used to be. So electromagnetic fields are very, very important. And we can talk about that more if you'd like to. I can speak a lot about Mars because it's a really interesting topic. Which would you rather fight? Can't think of a creative name? One big bee or lots of little bees? You tell us. And if anyone notices that at any time, if the audio seems off, something's too loud, something's too soft, please let us know. Appreciate that. Did that correctly? Oop, I did. Yeah. This back of the museum here is not very exciting. Or I guess it's the side. Think of it as the back. This side is not very exciting. It doesn't have any windows or anything. But that makes it really easy to build. That's looking good. Okay, this side. Partial moon. That's cool. I'm gonna have to look at some photographs to do this side. I'm not sure. So I will work on this floor. Yes. See, Audrey's still working on the bridge over there. Let's see here. This wall here. Next floor I will work on.
Right now I'm fixing the bridge so that you can't see the carpet all the way through to the bottom of the bridge.
Oh, excellent. I almost included in this a clip from, I have a video of made on an old VHS camcorder from 1996 from a science project I did on honeybees.
Oh.
And during the segment where I was at an apiary talking to a beekeeper, I was stung. Pretty great.
All right, I need to see that.
With my dad laughing at me in the background. Even back then, he was talking about the problems honeybees were facing. At that time, the biggest culprit, one of the big problems was a mite that lives in the trachea of the honeybee. But it wasn't, I don't think it was quite known at that time why that might have become so prolific. And I think the answer that researchers have come to now is that twofold, and I already discussed this. One, their immune system is compromised because they're not as healthy as they used to be, because the biodiversity of the amount of different types of flowers that they have access to has gone down over time as large agricultural practices have taken over and become so popular. But also that pests in general, small pests, whether it's bacteria or ticks or mites, just can spread further and live longer when seasons are warmer and damper. So that makes sense. Ooh, lightning. So
One of the major bee pests is the waxworm, which is the larva of a moth, and the moth lays its eggs in beehives. But the interesting thing about the waxworm is that waxworms are one of the few animals that can successfully biodegrade or decompose plastics, certain kinds of plastics. So they can transform plastics into alcohol, so like pure ethylene, from like a plastic bag or something like that. So a very cool organism, but very irritating for beekeepers. And part of the reason why they are willing to eat plastic is because the thing that waxworms eat, and the reason why they're called waxworms, is because they eat beeswax. That's their favorite food. So the beeswax is a kind of a similar texture to the kinds of plastics that they'll eat, including things like styrofoam and plastic bags, and I think they'll even eat PETG, but I'm not sure. I know they'll eat PLA.
Yes, and PLA is what we print using. That's what we use to print with our 3D printers, and we have fed waxworms 3D printed scraps here, and they've eaten it and have been fine. Pretty cool. PLA, plastic polylactic acid, is made from corn typically. It's a bioplastic. So it doesn't give off nearly as many VOCs as other plastics when they're being melted in the machines. And they biodegrade over time. And when I say biodegrade, I don't mean like they have to be under intense pressure and heat in a landfill or something. No, if you just leave them outside, they will essentially decompose, dissolve, not turn into a gazillion little shreds. You know, if you're thinking about microplastics, not like that. They really do disassociate, dissolve into particles that I don't think are much of a problem. I've had PLA prints in my yard for years, and they become brittle over time. "3D printers are really amazing. We can talk about that quite a lot as well. And we will. It's a machine that can make anything. A lot of uses for a machine that can make anything. Look at these guys, are so happy. So this building is over 20 years old. And
The original building, the agriculture, like, whatever it is. What is it? The records building?
no, it was the agriculture building.
Yeah, agriculture records or something like that. I think that was built in the 50s. At least that portion of it.
Well, not the portion at the museum. That was, but yeah. And then the
Yeah.
museum came in some other time
Yeah.
after. One of my favorite exhibits in this building is a blue whale skeleton. I don't know if it's full grown though. I just feel like it's hanging. It's up high, so you can walk underneath it. I need to read it to see if it's full grown. So I feel like it could be bigger, but I could be wrong. Another famous museum with a blue whale is the American Museum of Natural History in New York. They famously, in their one main like reception hall area, I guess, where they'll do like banquets and talks and things, they have a blue whale hanging from the ceiling. It's a model of a blue whale, not the skeleton, but like the full body of a blue whale, 1-to-1 scale. And that is humbling to be underneath. One of my other favorite exhibits in this building is also in the middle of it. There's going through 3 of the floors is a waterfall. Part of a diorama of North Carolina. Obviously made that part too high. This part over here contains some really cool dinosaur dioramas. Full-size sauropods and some kind of carnivore. I keep forgetting to go over there and remind myself which dinosaurs they are. I really need to. But they're in that diorama. Maybe it's some kind of tyrannosaur is attacking the sauropod with flying ancient reptiles above, like pteranodons or pterodactyls. Again, I'm sorry, I don't remember which. I need to look up. What's that guy have on? What are you wearing, buddy? Some weird little purple boots. Very fancy.
Oh, it's wearing chainmail, enchanted chainmail boots.
Wow. Oh, there's chainmail. Cool. There's a good safe space for monsters until I start adding lights. And you guys are not going to be very happy. So again, for anyone just happens to be just joining us, now or sometime in the future. Audrey and I are museum curators here at the North Carolina Museum of Natural Sciences, and what you're watching right now is us building the museum using blueprints from the museum. We're building the museum while inside the museum. Very meta here. Yeah, so that's a theater. Okay, I know I have to do a cutout for the waterfall, but I'll figure that out later based on the blueprints. Go ahead and start on the next level. We can talk about bees a little bit more. I think bees are great. I've always enjoyed how unbothered bees can be.
Oh.
How they could be on a flower and you can just give them a little pet and they're usually fine with it.
While we are building the second floor, I was trying to figure out where exactly the discovery room is, which is where our hive of bees here in the museum. I was gonna put a beehive down, but the discovery room is somewhere over here, I think. If you turn around, like this area. But I'm not sure what's going on underneath with these little sort of benches that you've got over here.
Let me see here. Yeah, well, and that brings up a good point. We have bees at the museum. So if you really want to get up close and personal with bees and see inside their hive, you can come to our museum, to the discovery room, which is in this building, and we have bees behind glass, where you can get up close, you can see them, maybe even see their queen. Okay, now what are you asking about? What's with the benches?
Yeah.
That's the WRAL theater.
I thought the WRAL theater was in the back.
That is the back.
That's the back?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just not understanding the orientation of things.
That's
so.
all right.
Above the WRAL theater is the discovery room.
Oh yeah. Okay.
But I'm not sure how tall the theater is supposed to be.
Yeah, I don't know that yet either. I'm gonna have to figure that out. I like how you started doing this for the... It's good. There are bees that have all sorts of really neat, have evolved really neat ways to deal with predators as well. There are some bees, let's see if I can... Yeah. Yes, so the museum's going to close in 10 minutes. That means this stream is going to end in 10 minutes. So if anyone's watching, they want to ask any questions, final call. There are... What were they jumping? Yes, there's a type of giant honeybee that does not, that creates nests in the open air. And when it is threatened, if something approaches the nest, it does this really cool thing called shimmering, where they will kind of in sync flash their wings in such a way that it creates this wave-like effect. So let me back up for a second. The bees are covering the nest, so all you see is this wall of bees. And so they wiggle their bodies and they flap their wings in such a way to create this really cool wave effect, just how like if you're at like a ballpark or something and they do the wave, you know, everyone in sync and how cool that looks. They do something like that. And it's just, it's surprising. And so it can confuse predators. That's really cool. Another neat defense can be seen utilized by native bees in Japan. So you have maybe heard of murder hornets. So murder hornets are a problem here in places where they're not native because they can devastate a bee nest really easily. They're very, very strong and they can take out a lot of bees. But where they're native in Japan, the native bees there have evolved a really interesting defense where they will swarm that hornet and completely surround it. They'll all grab onto it. And so now you have what looks like a ball of bees. And then what those bees will do is they will start to vibrate. They'll start to vibrate and flap their wings. And what happens if you do that? What happens if you move parts of your body quickly enough? Well, if you're moving, that means that your atoms are moving. And if the more your atoms move, the more heat is produced as a byproduct. So the best way to see that in action, to feel that in action at any time, is to do this. When you do this, you're creating friction. You're moving the atoms around so much enough, and that they generate heat as a byproduct. And so when these little bees are moving around, vibrating and flapping their wings, that produces heat. And if enough of them are on that hornet, it will just get too hot for that hornet, and that hornet cannot survive. So it's really interesting. You know, they have, some of these creatures, I don't know if they do, have stingers, but they're not going to use it, or I guess it isn't effective. They found this other technique that didn't have to involve any new physiology to defend their nests. I think that's really, really, really neat.
I'm working on the elevator shafts now. I think this is the elevator shaft. I just wanted to make it a hole instead of, so that I didn't forget that they were there.
The elevator shaft.
Right here, where I just made 2 holes.
Oh, yes, I think you're doing it in the right place.
Next to the gift shop.
Yeah. Yes, I've got all 3 elevators represented. The other thing I'm very much looking forward to building in this building is what is it called? Is it called the Butterfly Conservatory?
It's the Living Conservatory.
The Living Conservatory.
They don't like it when we call it the Butterfly Room.
Oh boy. Which maybe the whole thing should be made in block bench.
I think so.
And just
And I think that'll be
one big
super
thing.
fun to build.
Yes.
I am excited about that.
Yes. I think you should take that on. Audrey has already started the star creature of the conservatory. Do you want to, in the last few minutes, talk about that a little bit?
I'm sorry, I zoned out. What were you saying?
That's all right. What did you make for the conservatory already?
I made our sloth. Our most important, well, not most important, but our most famous specimen. So we have a I think it's a two-toed sloth. I'm not positive.
Anyways,
I should really look that up at some point. So our sloth, we've had this sloth for several years now. It is a two-toed sloth. All right, awesome. But we've had this sloth for, I'm pretty sure, the whole time that I have been alive, so at least 23 years. It may be a little bit less than that, but somewhere around that long.
you know, that sloth is is also related to my other favorite specimen in the entire museum, which is a skeleton of a giant ground sloth.
I love the giant ground sloth.
In
The
fact,
giant
that's
ground
my
sloth is probably my favorite of our skeletons.
yes, it is yeah, but between that and I guess the blue whale for me, it's definitely the coolest looking. It's my profile pic, I think, for Twitter. It is amazing. Imagine a sloth, 2-3 times bigger than a human and way bulkier with enormous claws. It is amazing. It just looks like it could grab a tree and just rip it out of the ground. I think it probably could. They are extraordinarily tough looking creatures. And I think they were quite successful, but I think the end of the Ice Age and maybe even humans played a part in them going extinct, unfortunately, because they could not compete with our spears, possibly like the woolly mammoth. All right, we've got about 2 more minutes. So again, last chance for anyone that has anything that they would like to say or ask. I'm going to set it to
Ask
be day
questions
again.
about giant ground sloths too. They are so the South American giant ground sloth was the only animal that dispersed avocados. So pretty much all other animals can't really handle the avocado pit. It's too much. It'll choke them, and it's dangerous. But the giant South American giant ground sloth was the friend of the avocado tree.
That's awesome. And what do the frogs eat in this game? Can I feed a frog?
I think they eat slime, maybe?
They eat slime.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Slime ball?
Yeah, I think they eat slime balls. I'm not positive, though.
Oh. How do I drop an item? I don't remember.
Q.
There you go, buddy. Eat that. No, I said eat it. Okay, I don't think that's going to work. All right. I'm going to finish off this stream here. I'm not sure what our next animal is going to be yet, but we will post it online on the YouTube. This is all in a playlist. There it is. If there was any question as to whether this was a green screen or not, there you go. So, with that, I hope you all have enjoyed this episode of Museum Makers Live. My name is Matthew.
And I'm Audrey.
Thank you. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you again with episode 3.
All right.
Have a
see
great
y'all
one.
later. Well,
Bye.
we won't see you, but you'll see us.
Yeah. Find that button again. There we go.
Bye-bye.